thank you for agreeing to talk to us at the OTM SIG. You are a key strategic partner of Oracle's with regards to OTM and cloud-based deployments. So what I asked Kathy to do is to introduce herself and give us some of the do's and don'ts from your experience with clients in respect of putting in OTM and especially cloud.
Thank you, Roddy. My name is Kathy Moore. I'm the CEO of Eminent Logistics, and we are Oracle's oldest OTM partner globally. And we do a lot of cloud implementations, especially today. The customer's focus is really on several things. Number one, drastic reduced total cost of ownership. Number two would be business continuity and stability. And number three, how to be able to basically manage their own future, manage their destiny. And as such, one of the most important parts of any implementation is going to be the partner that you choose. The modern practices that they bring, their total experiences that they have, and basically their overall ability to lead your organization into what is the most modern ability to manage your business.
So Kathy, we've spent a lot of time talking about codifying the path to the cloud, because the reality is that a company's probably going to have some of their own systems that are on-premise, and they're probably going to have to live with some sort of a hybrid solution. So from your experience, how much of a challenge is that for you? Because you've obviously got to adapt your process to what the client's needs and what their capabilities are. What sort of experiences can you talk about in that sense?
Well, the best case scenario is when you have a nice ERP that integrates very well. We have a customer, Steel and Pipe Supply. They were able to migrate to the cloud. They had one resource that focused on integration, and they were able to do 3 different business units in a very rapid time frame, again with only one IT resource involved.
Wow, that's impressive. And how many, just as a matter of interest, how many resources did Eminent have involved in the program?
We had 2.5 resources.
Wow. So immediately what jumps out at me is the difference between deploying in cloud and deploying traditional on-premise. The use of integrators and the role of the integrator and the use of IT resources is very different.
Yeah, Roddy. We also have another customer just even migrating from on-premise to the cloud, Sony Supply Chain Solutions. Again, they had one person on the integration side, and we had only 2 people on that side of our project because we were basically leveraging some functionality within the OTM product that allowed us to export directly into the cloud without any intense resource effort.
Wow. So here's another question around capabilities of the organization. Obviously, deploying to the cloud requires different skill sets. So Eminent's obviously got the skill sets to support that. What sort of challenges have you seen in the client base or in your customers? What have they had to do? What path have they chosen around change management, talent development, because that's obviously different?
Yeah, it is very different, and we find that the operational users, people that have that expertise, are the strongest people to be able to manage within the cloud.
So Kathy, obviously the implications for IT in the business are different in these deployments, and the business has to play a much more active role in defining processes, defining organization structures, and IT plays a very different role to what they traditionally have. What's your experience in that sense?
Yeah, within the cloud you cannot have customizations, and so it is very important to focus on the process and to focus on the operations. In the past, a lot of companies would default to their legacy system and they would custom develop that into the new solution. And so it's very important that people focus on the best processes now moving forward, which is going to lead to some changes. And we find that just tiny changes in the process flow can lead to significant returns from the business. For example, another customer had a 4% savings when they moved into the cloud. They looked at the processes, they realized that the users were still doing a very manual process, and when they made those corrective measures, they increased their savings to 10% within 30 days.
Wow, that's impressive. So what sort of business leaders do you see taking an active role in leading the capabilities of moving to the cloud? Is it functional specialists? Is it change management specialists? What have you seen any patterns?
Definitely it started with the logistics functional users. They had a need, they were being stressed within their industry, they needed to find cost reductions. And from there I would say it went to IT leaders that are starting to embrace the cloud, that know that they need enterprise level applications without the high cost of ownership. Some customers have reduced their infrastructure and software costs by over 50% moving to the cloud, and that includes the labor that they didn't have to retain any longer, that had often very specialized skill sets that weren't scalable within their organization.
That's interesting. What about the fact that business doesn't necessarily understand the details of the cloud, and after one or two projects they start to feel more comfortable with the use of the cloud for these new processes? Have you seen the business lighten up its perspective on maybe we need to start thinking more aggressively about moving the business to the cloud?
Yeah, when Oracle first released the cloud, there was a little bit of a hesitancy to see that it was proven. Now larger organizations are much more interested. The uptime percentages that were being shown earlier are applied now to the technology space. And customers that had experienced things in the past that may not have invested in disaster recovery, and maybe they had some performance issues with the way they did the original implementation, are not realizing that within the cloud. And it's mainly because the development has designed the way the cloud operations are going to run, and so it's engineered to really allow OTM to run at its optimal.
This is a great story. Kathy, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us and being a strategic partner of Oracle's with OTM deployments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roddy.